Hello, and welcome to the Conditioning Format lesson. Conditioning format applies formatting to your content based on certain criteria being met. This is especially beneficial for analyzing data and identifying patterns and trends. Today, we will demonstrate how your data can speak to you simply by assigning formatting rules to your cells. This video will demonstrate how to set up and manage data rules. We will identify duplicates and other information within our data, as well as assign bars and icons to our data. This is an awesome Excel feature, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lesson. I would like to begin by showing you where to locate your tools. Let's go to the Home ribbon, the Styles group, and the Conditioning Format icon. Let's get the drop down and take a look. The highlight cell rule is designed to help you identify cells that meet certain criteria. The top and bottom rule will help you identify your top and bottom figures within a specific range. Your data bars and color scales will give you a visual of how your data stack up. And the icon sets will be assigned based on certain criteria being met. Further down, you can set up new rules, or you can clear existing rules and manage existing rules. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do a few demonstrations. Let's start by going to Units Sold, and we are going to look for duplicate values. So let's go ahead and highlight column B. Let's go up to our conditioning formatting and get the drop down icon. Let's go ahead and say highlight cell rules. We're going to go down to duplicate values. Here it gives you a few options of what you want to identify for your duplicate values. I'm going to go ahead and just say yellow field with dark yellow text. And then I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to scroll to look for the duplicate values within my content. Okay, and as you can see, row 68 and row 75 both have the same figure. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and identify my top 5 values in the total revenue. I'm going to scroll all the way up. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the entire column. And then I'm going to go up to conditioning formatting. And this time I'm going to use my top and bottom rules. I want to identify my top 5. So let's go ahead and say top 10 items. I'm going to reduce this to 5. And here it's giving me my options. How do you want to identify your top 5? I can choose one of these, or I can go ahead and do a custom format. So for demonstrations, let's go ahead and do a custom format. Let's just make our background green. And then let's just go ahead and say OK. Let's say OK to this. Now we can scroll through and we can identify our top 5 figures. Okay. Now I want to go back to units sold, and I want to identify anything that's less than $500. So let's go ahead and select column B again. Let's go up to conditioning formatting, highlight cell rules. Let's go ahead and say less than, and this time I'm going to say 500, and I want to identify it by, I'm just going to go ahead and leave the light red. I'm going to say OK. And let's scroll through and see how many we snagged. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4. So it looks like we have about 4 figures that's less than 500. Okay. So now what I would like to do is go ahead and clear out all the rules, and then we'll look at our bars and color scales. So from here, I'm just going to say conditioning formatting. I'm going to say clear rules. Now here it asks, do you want to clear rules for a selected group of cells? Do you want to clear for the entire sheet? Do you want to clear for a table? I'm going to go ahead and say clear my rules for the entire sheet. Okay, and so now as you can see, all the data that was identified in the rules that I had established is no longer visible. Okay, so let's go ahead and work in the total revenue section. Let's go ahead and highlight that. Let's go up to conditioning formatting, and let's grab the data bars. And here you get a visual of how your data is stacking up. Okay. Now here's a good way that you can actually identify trends on what is performing best in your data. All right, let's go ahead, and this time I want to do a color scale. And you can kind of hover, you don't have to commit, you can hover to see what you like best. I am going to go with, okay. So you can clear one or the other, or you can leave both. It's really up to the user's preference. So I want to go ahead and clear this out before we do our final demonstration. Let's go up to the formatting cells. Let's say clear rules. And again, we're going to say entire sheet. All right. So next I want to continue to work in the top revenue section. Let's go ahead and highlight it again. Let's go conditioning formatting. And this time we're going to say icon sets. I want to set up the rule this time. So let's say more rules. I want to look at the different icons that's available. I think I want to go with the stars. Okay. This defaults to percentages, so let's go ahead and change this to numbers. So anything that's more than 5 million, I would like to have a whole star. So let's go ahead and type 5 million. So anything that's between 1 million and 5 million will get a half a star. Okay. And then anything that's less than 1 million will get a white star. Okay. So let's go ahead and say okay. So as you can see, my icons are assigned based on meeting certain criteria. Here you have an item that's more than 5 million. Here you have an item that's less than 1 million, so it gets a white star. Congrats on completing this video and on your commitment to learning Excel. Be sure to save your work and then pat yourself on the back. You are doing an awesome job.